Ignite is an ongoing series of speedy presentations. Each speaker gets only 5 minutes and 20 slides that auto-advance every 15 seconds.
Hi, my name is James Turner. I'm a contributing editor for O'Reilly Media, a correspondent for the Christian Science Monitor. In general, I will write for food. I want to talk to you today a little bit about journalism in its current state. One of the things that's become very obvious is that print journalism is on the decline. In the years between 1998 and 2007, it fell a full 10%. It's still going down. It's well under 50% readership now. That's had a big effect on newspapers, both in direct revenue, but also that affects their advertising revenue. This is the bread and butter of newspapers, and especially the classifieds. And between the decline in readership and things like Craigslist and eBay, it's really devastated the bottom line. Now, one way they've reacted to this, because they're trying to find some way to get new profit, is to go online. We see them on Kindles now, we see them on websites, you see them on mobile phones. This is both an attempt to say, hey, these guys are making money online, maybe we can too, but also there are some direct cost benefits to them. If we look at the costs of putting out a newspaper, about 65% of it is printing and distribution, getting the trees, killing them, printing on them, and getting them out. So if you can get those costs down, then you can really save yourself a lot of money if you don't print at all. You still have to figure out a revenue model. Most people try to use click and banner. The problem is the overall spend on click and banner has leveled off and even started to decline in the past few years, so you have more people going for the same pot of money. So that doesn't seem to be working out. Well, Rupert Murdoch said, okay, fine, I won't do that. I'll put up a paywall. Well, even before they started charging, just when they started registering, their market share dropped from 4.3 to 1.8% in a month. It's now down over 90%. So that doesn't seem to work either. Now, what's the real problem here? The real problem is structural, because most of what a newspaper has had in the past, like weather, breaking news, comics, you can get online and usually better and fresher now. So they really are only left with the journalism and the analysis. Okay, so maybe we could get those costs down. If that's all we got left, let's hire freelancers. Freelancers you don't have to pay when you're not using them. You don't have to pay their health care. So it's a great model for the newspapers. And for people who do freelance work, it isn't too bad either. But one problem we're seeing is they're asking us to do more and more. Now you have to be a backpack journalist, a one-man band. You have to shoot video. You have to shoot audio. You have to do blogging during it. And at the same time that they're asking us to work harder and harder for the money is going down. I polled the Internet Press Guild last week, and I asked them what had happened in the last 10 years to freelance rates. And 50% of them said that they had decreased dramatically. Okay, well, if you can't even afford to pay freelancers a decent wage, let's not pay anybody at all. Let's go to citizen journalism. Here's CNN iReport. Citizen journalism is really great for breaking news. Nobody is going to have a fresher view on the news than the guy with a cell phone camera at the scene of the accident. But there are problems with citizen journalism. One big one is it isn't vetted usually at all. So here's a breaking news story on CNN iReport about how Dr. Sinclair can heal your depression. So obviously there's not a lot of quality control. The other big problem is for the really important stories that you want analysis and resources for it, like say Watergate, your average citizen isn't going to have the time, the clout, or the resources to do this. These guys took months and years. They used the statue of the Washington Post to get what they needed. So citizen journalists can't do that. One thing that we are seeing now is this is a story that came out last year on the hospital crisis after Katrina. It was done by ProPublica. It won the Pulitzer Prize. ProPublica is a nonprofit, and we're seeing more and more nonprofits getting into the journalist business. This is a list of some are out of universities, some of them are state or federal collaborations, a few are using a donation model. I really think that this may be a big hope for keeping journalism alive, but we have to want journalism. Right now, we seem to think that scandal and the crisis of the moment and arguing with each other is journalism. As an example, I did a Google search last week when the ClimateGate report came out that exonerated the scientists. That's important news no matter which side you're on. There were 753 articles on that. There were 29,000 of them on LeBron James. So we don't seem to want this kind of news, even though it's important for us. I want to end with a quote from Chris Lee, who's a media analyst I interviewed this year, and I'm going to break the first rule of PowerPoint and read the slide because I think it's so important. He says, it comes down to viewer behavior because there are fewer and fewer people out there in journalism management who are prepared to spin the dial anywhere but where it will make the most revenue. I look for a sign that we as a culture are interested in a little bit of news that we need, not just the news that we want. Or as I like to say, candy may be nice, but you gotta eat your vegetables too. Thank you.